What's happening? TSL Podcast, Steve Mayeda here, and we are talking about one of the most important things that this podcast is about. That is seduction, the nature of seduction, the beauty of it, that somehow this force of sex within us goes far, far beyond just this urge of hot chicks, getting numbers or whatever, but truly into, and I mean this with all of my heart. I mean, I founded the sexual life of your best self and how you will learn the highest art form of who you are. Beautiful, beautiful thing. The greatest gift you can give somebody else is seduction. That being said, guys, this is being recorded live on our call, our Men's Development Excellence call. There's actually 7 people on right now. It's almost midnight on Wednesday, September the 13th, 2017. So that's pretty cool, man. And what we do on these groups, this call started off at 8 p.m. is we unify, we go over different things, we talk about different things. And what I've learned from doing this for the last 10, 11, 12 years is that we need this more than ever. Guys need to bond and talk about these things. Sign up on the free stuff link down below. Get involved with our free courses, free video courses, free PDFs. They're all listed down there. It's super, super cool. And of course, on these live videos, if there's anything left out, check out the liner notes on the description down below, because we include all of the sort of stuff there that, because it's all done in one take. It's all done improvisationally on a call. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. We have awesome playlists just for you to learn about sex, men's development, all that sort of good stuff. But let's get into what we're talking about here. Now, this actually came up when we were talking about making promises, making commitments, and these contractual obligations that we have. And it also came up because I shared a post by Hans Komain. If you haven't heard of him, he's a pretty amazing guy. He worked with Zan for a long time. I actually met him with Zan probably like 7 or 8 years ago. And, now he does his own thing. And both those guys are amazing people. But what I like about Hans and what I like about Zan is they keep it all about seduction. You could talk about that forever, man. And it's such a great discipline and such a great tool, and not enough people look at it, And so what we were getting into was that seduction is this beautiful thing, man. What we make sex, what we make ourselves, and what we make our passions, and I talk about this all the time, but this is where it comes from, is this beauty of seduction, is we make it about something else. We think that we're gonna belittle ourselves with just seeing sex is just this urge. And see, we weren't meant to live that way. We weren't meant to be that way. Seduction is always within us. It's that thing which shares the deepest part of ourselves with somebody. And actually, I remember I was doing a podcast on seduction. This had to have been in like 2009 or 10, but with Ross Jeffries. It was way back when. He was just live on one of these calls, actually. And he decided he wanted to show up. And he said something that was so beautiful. And he was like, see, pickup ruins all this stuff because it somehow put all the shit that comes before you being naked with another person and them being naked, and what happens when you're naked and sharing that truth, and it puts it into all the stuff that we do before that, which is usually based on our fears. Think about how beautiful that is, and think about how much that terrifies you, how you could share your heart, you could share your feeling, you could share all of this stuff with somebody else, but instead of that, we think about everything that leads up to that. And when that terrifies you, that's a lot of crap. And see, one of the beautiful things about seduction, and look at what men and women have done to themselves. Look at what we've done to ourselves. Jesus Christ, look at this. What is being a woman now? What the fuck is that? What is being a woman without a man? What is being a man now? And look at what we've done to that. And what does it mean to be a man without a woman? And this is amazing. Why would you ever deprive yourself from that? Why would you deprive yourself from a lifestyle with no rules? And that's what seduction is, man. Because everything changes to a life where you have to be bound to something to make sense. And it's interesting because what's so beautiful about seduction, and this is what we got to get, man. This is what, men, you got to fucking grow the fuck up and get with some wisdom. Get with some reality of who you are. Man, it's just become it's just compounded, man. Pick up, hey, I'm a pickup artist. I've been a pickup artist. But what you and what the world defines as a pickup artist probably is not me. See, because with me, I love to fuck. I loved women. I loved making love. I loved that. And I loved it in all these misogynistic ways too. I loved it, man. I loved it in the way that Henry Miller loved it. To be a chauvinist, to go out there, to use your dick, to know what it's like to speak with your dick, to have balls and have it speak through every action of your life. And when it fucked you, to say, hey, this was part of having balls. And fuck, it might leave me sad, crying and on the floor, not knowing what hit me, crying like an animal. But goddamn, I have a dick and balls. And I'll walk away with that. And sometimes that may not have seemed like the best decision. But see, the thing is in that was following the path of connecting with somebody, what a woman could give me, what I could feel, what was there. And what happened in that is that there's no rules when that happens. And when you're with a woman and you share a part of yourself like that with a woman, and it could just be on the first night, you want to be with that woman. You want to make promises. You want to love. You want to share. You want to share everything about yourself. And you know how a boy comes to a man, or you know how a man becomes a man who knows how to make decisions when it comes to pussy, dick, cum, love, fucking kids, being somebody, is saying yes to those conversations, saying yes to those events in your lives, and then realizing where they change. And so this is the thing, man. This is amazing. You know, we've made sex a rule book. We've made women a rule book, a guide to play by, that are so different than us that they have to be crazy. And they did the same thing to us. In fact, they probably started it, man. It's this fucking stupid pointing back and forth of what it is, rather than connecting and becoming complete within one another. A man without a woman is a man that has to hate women. A women without men are women that hate men. Man, I mean, why would we have to do that? Why would we do it? Why would we deprive ourselves from that? Because I know that when I'm with somebody and my sexual mind takes over, and it's different. I mean, man, the stuff I think when I'm turned on, and it's not just when I'm aroused. Arousal's a little bit different. Arousal's this phase of us getting sexual and deciding if we're going to have sex or not. And it's kind of like sex, social. Oh, I want you, bud. Oh, I want you. But when I'm in the state of sex, when my dick is in pussy, when I'm in that state of orgasm, when I'm in that state of that beauty happening, when, you know, we talk about these flow states or what everybody wants or their passions or whatever fucking bullshit that you're looking for because your life is so goddamn played. Goddamn, man, have a dick and balls and go out and find life. Have a passion, have a heart. Fucking put it out there, man. And put it out there to the point where it can hurt you, because you know what? You'll live. And if you die, you'll die with a smile on your face. But that being said, like, God, man, like when you are in that mode, you're not thinking the same things. Rules don't matter. What she does, who she is, how people are going to gossip don't matter. And again, this isn't arousal. This isn't after sex. This isn't after you blow your load. This is during this. This is during the point where you're pursuing it, when you're living your urge to woo her, to get her, to want her. Every man's afraid of the chase, but the chase makes the man. Changing yourself for a woman, that's the chase that everybody else is talking about. That's what makes you weak. But man, chasing that woman, the seduction, you know, this is a beautiful thing. That's that process, that leading up to it. Then to the sex, where your mind opens up and changes. There's no rules. Man, anybody who's been a part of an orgy or a gangbang or some sort of different sexual experimentation, man, that's where the true polyamory happens. But everybody's trying to be polyamorous, not for the sex. They're doing it for the control. They're doing it for the bragging rights. They're doing it because it sounds cool. They're doing it because they're a fucking nerd and alone in fucking the 4th grade and all the girls talk to some other dude, but not you. But when you are in that act of loving everything, it is beautiful. And that's what I lived, man. When I chased pussy, when I chased sex, when I chased orgasm, it was chasing something that was so amazing that couldn't be defined, so much to the point where first I chased it like a high. First, I chased it like a slave. First, it made me ignore all these different things in my life. But the beautiful thing is, and I talk about a lot about this in addiction, is that when it comes to recovery and sex, you don't stop fucking. You can't. You're going to have to be sexual at some point in your life. When it comes to recovery and drugs, you can stop. You don't need that to live. So the high of sex, the beauty of sex became normal to me. And when I had it in excess, and when I had it in so many ways, it became something that I could sit in. I could meditate in. Whether I was fucking slow, making love, fucking hard, being fucked, whatever the fuck it was. But when I was there, I could get to know this beautiful sense of who I was. And see, we don't do this, man. And the guys that do this, see, like, sex eludes people. And the reason why it eludes people is it eludes the same type of person. The person that achieves expression of self without themselves. Because sex demands you to be that man that is naked with a woman, rather than the steps that led up to that man being naked with a woman. You know, see, your life, your passion is about who you are raw in front of the world, where you open up your soul and hold a magnifying glass to it so that all people can see, so that they look, so you make it as easy as possible for them to see, so that you share. And to a person that's been hurt, that sounds like weakness because that's how you got hurt. To a person that doesn't want to be themselves, that sounds like stupidity. To a person that doesn't know the potential of who they are, thinks that that's how you stay the same. When here's the deal. No matter how much pussy you get, thousands of dollars, bragging rights, millions of dollars, fucking adoration around the world, that doesn't mean shit unless those things are there. We are the richest people on earth. You realize this. You're a man with a sex drive. You have one of the greatest commodities on earth because you could literally go anywhere to any living being in front of you and share an exchange that connects you in so many ways. And it's not a big deal. It doesn't have to be grandiose. It doesn't have to be a high, because it's the most normal thing you can do. And it's what you were born to do. Man, seduction is a gift. One of the greatest compliments you can give somebody is to show that you are sexually attracted to them. The problem is that you need to learn how to communicate that. And we're all afraid. Because our pants are on, our flies are zipped, our mouths are shielded. We're walking around as the guy who is afraid. And so we take that route instead of seeing the two naked bodies unifying and connecting as the way to go. Man, it's a fucking amazing thing. In any case, guys, the sexual life is founded upon this. In fact, there's a 21 Convention speech about it where the true philosophy came from this. There's sex, seduction, and sexuality. And just briefly to go over it, sex is just the act, and we chase that. Sex is the act. It's what we like. And perhaps when we look at a woman and we see big tits or a small body or a big body or whatever the fuck it is we like, and our dicks get hard and we pursue that, and we pursue it and pursue it, and it doesn't make any sense, that pursuit of it, until we have sex. But once we have sex, then we realize what the seduction is. And the seduction was before that, but we can't see it until we've actually taken part in the action. Is that the seduction is around it. It's before the sex, it's after the sex, it's all those things that continue. It's that whole package of that, what made the choices of who we are and how we, the different people we have sex with, interact with that sex. But the sexuality is the most beautiful part. And see, so many of us think we're going to gain a specific sexuality rather than find the one within ourselves. Is that sexuality is the result of living a life of sex and seduction, and determining who we are and knowing what that is. We start this backwards. We have zero experience and we think we want to know our sexuality. We're a player, we're a badass, we're never hurt, we have power. Women are an equation to how good we are as men. Our sex is an expression of something that we deserve because of that. Not our own pleasure, not our own expression, not who we are. Those things might matter, but man, it's more about what other people say. And seduction is this fucking unnecessary process because now it's this stacked ladder of cookie cutter shit and power and manipulation and control and all this fucking stuff. But in order to be the seducer, in order to get into seduction, there's something very special that you have to do, is you have to let go. You have to be willing to take. You have to be willing to ravage. You have to be willing to submit. You have to be willing to feel. You have to be willing to go through every single process of all those things that people are searching for with their ayahuasca trip, their fucking near-death experience. But you can have it right now with a woman in between her legs, naked, in reaching, man, that point of fucking death, terror, confusion, elation, all those things anytime you want. But it's a little bit too simple and it demands yourself, so nobody wants to do it. Man, be social, be sexual, live life. That was something that I told everybody always, and there is a massive importance to that, because when we are being social, we gain empathy. We don't need rules. We don't need barriers. We don't need boundaries in order to make a connection work. Be sexual, man. Speak with your intent. Speak with your dick. Speak with your fucking balls. Speak with all of those things, because in that you will gain sex, seduction, and sexuality. And man, you'll never beat life. We're always in those boundaries. In any case, podcast, sign up, hit the free stuff, get involved in what we do. We bleed passion, people. We bleed. This is fucking one of the greatest things in the world. And me talking, it does a disservice to represent like every awesome motherfucker on here. Be a part of this group, man. Join the conversation. Be engaged in it. And we'll talk to you there. Later.